It's Tuesday, June 1st, and this is now on H&N.
There was a huge fight.
A man is dead and another is critically injured following two separate stabbings in Waikiki.
But the communication and leadership, she got low marks.
After largely disappearing from the public eye, HPD Chief Susan Ballard quietly ends 35 years of service. And we just learned of more changes coming to the department.
A labor shortage is hitting hotels nationwide. I'm Wendy Gillette, and I'll tell you how the industry is trying to attract workers ahead of the busy summer season.
I've never seen the need for staffing like this unmet as it has been.
These stories plus, today marks the start of the hurricane season and officials are urging Americans to prepare. Details on what you need to know coming up on This Is Now. Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for watching This Is Now on this Tuesday. I'm Jonathan alongside Ashley here. Just minutes ago, we got new numbers from the State Department of Health.
The state is reporting 56 new COVID infections today and no new fatalities. The breakdown by island shows 19 cases on the Big Island, 3 on Kauai, 2 confirmed cases on Maui and 1 probable case there. On Oahu, 24 confirmed cases and 6 probable cases, and 1 person was diagnosed out of state. Kauai County is independently reporting 1 new infection. Meanwhile, Honolulu police are investigating a fatal crash in Waianae that left 1 woman dead. Officials say the crash happened this morning on Farrington Highway near the Waianae treatment plant. Billy V filed this report new at noon.
Thank you very much. We're down here in the Waianae area. This is on Farrington Highway across from Lualua Lei Beach Park. This is the scene right here, a single car accident at 7:30 this morning. That's when the police first reported it. According to a witness, HPD says that the car just slowly drifted off of the road. At this time, according to HPD, alcohol or drugs are not factors in this crash. Once again, fatal crash here on the side of the road. Fire department, HPD on the scene, medical examiner as well. Once again, single occupant, female. They do not know how old, where she is from. Only occupant in the car, dead this morning in the crash here on Farrington Highway. From Waianae, I'm Billy V. Let's get back to you.
Honolulu police are investigating after 2 separate stabbings in Waikiki early this morning. 1 man is dead, another is critically injured. The attacks happened just minutes apart and only 1 suspect is in custody. Sammy Salina has the latest.
There were 2 stabbings early this morning in Waikiki that occurred not too far from one another, just a couple of blocks. Police said they responded to those incidents around the same time and that they're completely unrelated. One ended with a man stabbed to death and another in critical condition. Near Ohua and Kalakaua, police got word after 12:30 that there was a fight. Witness video shows a group of people in an argument. Another video, which we can't show you because it's so graphic, shows the man in red shorts lying unresponsive. Police said an off-duty nurse from Illinois tried CPR on him, but when EMS arrived soon after, they declared the man, who they said is a visitor with an ID from Nevada, dead.
Guys who attacked, they start hitting a gentleman, and after that there was a huge fight, and 1 guy got stabbed. A lady tried to help a dying guy to do CPR on him. And it lasted for 7 minutes.
While police were at this scene, they said a person ran over to them and said their friend was stabbed at the wall, just a few blocks east. Police told me they were in a fight. They said 5 minutes after they got word of another stabbing, they caught a suspect involved in the fight on the wall near Kuhio and Kapohulu. A 30-year-old man was arrested for terroristic threatening and attempted murder. Police said the person who was stabbed was transported to the hospital in critical condition. If you have any information on these stabbings, you're encouraged to call Crime Stoppers at 955-8300. Sammy Solina for This Is Now.
This just in from HPD. Deputy Chief John McCarthy has announced he is retiring effective July 1st. He was second in command under Chief Ballard. He has also been on leave recently. He has over 4 decades of experience. I had a chance to talk with our chief investigative reporter, Lynn Kawano, about all the changes happening at HPD just a short time ago. After more than 3 decades of service, HPD's Chief Ballard stepped down officially yesterday. She announced back in April, a surprise to many, that she was retiring. And that comes after a lot of controversy. But really, what was it that forced her to step down? What are you hearing from your sources, Lynn?
You know, Jonathan, it came 2 days after the police commission gave her some low marks in some of the areas. She got high marks in other areas, but the communication and leadership, she got low marks. And it seemed like that really bothered her because 2 days later she announced she was retiring, which was a surprise to many people. But then after that, she never showed up at any other police commission meetings. These happen every other week, Wednesdays, 2 p.m. We know they're going to happen. And she, since April, did not show up to any of those. So I do believe that a lot of it had to do with the police commission and the low marks. And I think she just had a hard time getting past that.
And we've been doing some reporting, very specific reporting on where she's been and how she's used her comp time or PTO, however you call it, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's taken a lot of sick time lately since she announced she was retiring. You know, part of the issue here, though, is she did have some minor medical procedures. So we certainly hope that she is improving from that. And that is what sick time is for. At the same time, a lot of retirees do this, especially when they've spent 35 years in a position. They have accumulated all of this sick time. That's what it's for. A lot of retirees, especially in the police department, do take a lot of their sick time toward the end of it so that they don't lose it. It's not that unusual. On the other hand, she is the police chief, and we would have liked to see more of her. And really, after 35 years, there should have been some type of retirement, and we didn't get any of that.
And I do understand the commission is going to make some sort of commemoration tomorrow, right, at their meeting Wednesday?
Yes, they are supposed to acknowledge her and thank her for her 35 years of public service, which she does deserve. But it's unclear. I don't even know if Susan Ballard's going to be there. She hasn't been at the police commission meetings since early April. I don't know if she's even going to be there for this.
Let's talk about some of the highs and lows of that 35-year career. What are some of those high point moments, and really what are some of those low point moments that many things sort of pushed her out the door?
Yeah, you know, Susan Ballard was not high profile before she became chief. She was known for being in the receiving desk and some of these lower profile positions, and I think she was okay with that. But then she wanted to become chief, and we celebrated. You know, after Louis Kealoha, who is now in prison, she was certainly celebrated. She was also the first female chief. So a lot of people got behind her. I feel like a lot of people really wanted her to succeed, and the first 2 years seemed to be going really smoothly. She was very open with the public. She was very open with the media. And I don't know if it was COVID or what happened that seemed to turn things around. But the controversy really started with some of the COVID CARES Act money, some of this questionable spending by the department. And the feds are looking into that questionable spending as well.
So let's talk about who's in charge now and what's next for the search for a permanent replacement.
Yes, so acting chief is Ratty Vanek. He's got more than 21 years of experience. He's known to us because he's had more of a high profile position in recent years. He was even the captain over the Public Information Office. So we do know Captain Vanek. He's been in many positions around. He does have only 21 years, and while that sounds like a lot, I mean, here's Chief Ballard with 35, here's some of the other deputies with 40 years of experience. So it kind of was a surprise when he was announced. At the same time, he has been the face for the departments recently since Susan Ballard has not been there. Captain Vanek took over, he became the acting chief, but before that he was an assistant chief, so it wasn't like he came out of nowhere and jumped a bunch of ranks. It is a little bit questionable in terms of the police commission chose him to take over as acting, and he wants the job. So it's almost like they're giving him maybe an advantage here, which, you know, could be seen as actually a blessing and a curse for him.
So calls from the media, calls from the public, more transparency, any sort of crystal ball into the future you're going to get more from this interim chief? I overheard some conversations in the newsroom. We've requested interviews, right? Have you heard back from that?
So we did request interviews. This was before he took over, and the response we got was not yet, not until he takes over. So we shall see. We haven't been told otherwise as of right now. We don't have anything scheduled to meet with the new interim chief, Ratty Vanek. You know, this process, though, of finding a new chief, last time it took more than 8 months. So this is a position he's going to be in for a while. They only advertised the position this past weekend, even though they've known that Chief Ballard was retiring in early April. So this is going to be a long time. It's going to, I think we're going to be into 2022 before they announce a new chief. So, you know, Interim Chief Vanek will have us for a while. We'll have to run the department at least for the next 6 to 8 months.
And someone else we're going to have for a while, Lynn Quano, our chief investigative reporter, who's going to stay on top of this story. Let's toss it back over to Ashley.
Amazon has pulled permits for a delivery center in Honolulu. Lacey Denise has the details.
Amazon Prime deliveries might be arriving on Hawaii residents' doorsteps sooner as the e-retailer appears closer to building a bigger warehouse on Oahu. Pacific Business News reports Amazon has pulled permit applications to begin site preparation for a delivery station on Awiki Street. Additional permit applications are expected to be filed for the actual structure, which is estimated to be more than 100,000 square feet, according to PBN. Amazon bought the 14-acre lot on Sand Island last year. Surfco has been using the site but will reportedly be moving off property this summer. For This Is Now, I'm Lacey Denise.
It's back to pretty much business as usual in Sin City. Clark County fully reopened today, and that means full casinos, no more plexiglass dividers, social distancing, or having to wait outside for tables in Las Vegas. Many visitors gathered downtown at the Fremont Street Experience for live music to celebrate the full reopening at midnight. County officials say 55% of their residents are fully vaccinated. They're also considering offering cash incentives to encourage more people to get their shots. Meanwhile, venue operators have been booking conventions, with many saying they have sold out their spaces.
Many hotels across the country are dealing with a labor shortage. We've got Wendy Gillette in Scottsdale, Arizona, with much more on that.
Laurel Eli is a front desk agent at the Fairmont Scottsdale Princess just outside Phoenix. The hotel has been overwhelmed with guests since February, when more people started getting vaccinated.
It's been very busy. Lots of guests are coming to enjoy this beautiful weather we have, to sit at the pool, hike, golf, and just relax.
While the guests are coming back, not all the workers are. Business plummeted when the pandemic started and many employees left the industry or the area. The hotel is currently looking to fill 200 positions across all departments.
I've never seen the need for staffing like this unmet as it has been.
The hotel is offering an incentive of $500 to new hires, and current employees can get a bonus of $500 if they refer someone who gets a job. About a dozen miles away, the Phoenician Resort is searching for 50 employees.
We have cards that we take with us that we can hand out if we meet someone. Hey, are you interested in joining the luxury collection in the Phoenician family?
Staffing shortages extend across the country.
How are we doing today?
Benjamin McCarney is the general manager of the Bohemian Riverfront in Savannah, Georgia. He sometimes busses tables at the hotel's rooftop restaurant when he's short on staff.
I do love the industry, but we all get tired. You know, I had 2 days off last month. Closing the rooftop bar multiple nights.
The president of Visit Savannah says managers everywhere are picking up the slack.
It might be cleaning rooms and scrubbing toilets, and you know, that's a challenge for people that you know, that are also responsible for the bottom line and managing their business.
Establishments are asking guests to be patient this summer as the industry works through these staffing issues. Wendy Gillette, CBS News, Scottsdale, Arizona.
In regards to the labor shortage here at home, Southwest Airlines, which employs more than 300 people in Hawaii, now says it expects to hire 150 more. And Hawaiian Airlines, with over 6,000 Hawaii-based employees, is also hiring. Both confirm many jobs are still open and it is not too late to apply. We have a link available on our H&N digital platform.
President Biden is in Oklahoma today to mark the 100th anniversary of the Tulsa Race Massacre, where he'll honor the victims and meet with their descendants and survivors. The president is also unveiling new initiatives to help communities of color across the country.
The events we speak of today took place 100 years ago, and yet I'm the first president in 100 years ever to come to Tulsa. And I say that not as a compliment about me, but to think about it. 100 years and the first president to be here during that entire time. And in this place, in this ground, to acknowledge the truth of what took place here.
The Central Pacific hurricane season starts today. Forecasters predict that the region will see 2 to 5 tropical cyclones this season. While we may see only a few storms, forecasters say they may be stronger than usual due to climate change. Experts on the mainland are also keeping a close eye on the Atlantic. Here's Liz McLaughlin with more on what you need to know to be prepared.
And look at that damage.
After a record number of storms last year, federal forecasters expect another above-normal hurricane season.
Now it's time to get ready for the busiest time of the year for disasters in America.
Officials, including the Consumer Product Safety Commission, urging Americans to prepare.
It only takes one storm to wreak havoc, causing mass destruction and loss of life.
The CPSC now warning consumers about the risk of carbon monoxide poisoning from portable generators, often used during power outages.
CO is an odorless, colorless gas that can kill you and your family in minutes.
It's a good time to check batteries in carbon monoxide detectors, which should be placed on every floor of your home.
If the alarm goes off, don't ignore it. Get out of the house and call 911.
During the recent deep freeze in Texas, where there are no laws requiring CO detectors, carbon monoxide poisoning caused at least 11 deaths and 1,400 hospitalizations, many due to bringing charcoal grills or generators inside.
They should be outside 20 feet away from your house.
And that's not the only risk. Keep generators dry with a tarp or tent to avoid electrocution.
You never want to refuel your generator while it's running. Always turn it off, let it cool down.
Important precautions to stay safe in the storm. Liz McLaughlin, NBC News.
Thanks, Liz, for those important reminders. Also, an important reminder for our viewers out there who haven't done so already, please download our severe weather app provided by H&N. All you have to do is go to anywhere on your app store or app marketplace, type in Hawaii News Now weather, and it'll pop up. You can get interactive radar, all the alerts. I'm really not pitching it. I use it all the time. It's a good app. Let's turn it over to see what more the conditions are like here from our own Guy Hockey.
How's it on this Tuesday? We're watching this weak front right here. It's expected to drop in and bring more showers to Kauai and Oahu between Thursday and Friday. Until then, we're lucky if we get anything in the way of meaningful rainfall. Not much rain is out there or expected until that front comes in on Thursday. And those winds will be getting stronger. Right now, they're slow in waking up. But as the day progresses, they should be running up to 10 to 20 today. So humidity levels will be lower than the last several days. We're still expecting a lot of sunshine. That's why that UV index is extreme at 12. And there are no marine alerts. Even though we've got a sizable swell up in the country, it's on the way down. Good conditions for northwest and south shores today. A little bumpy on the east side because of those returning trade winds. So beautiful weather for the next few days. And again, we could see a few more showers develop for Kauai and Oahu, especially between Thursday and Friday. Keep it here on Hawaii News Now. We'll have all your severe weather updates.
New today, married couples in China can now have 3 children instead of 2. It's a government move to increase the population after decades of tight restrictions. Rami Inocencio has much more.
China needs more babies. Yes, that may seem like a strange thing to say since it's the world's most populous country with 1.4 billion people. But China is getting older faster, and Beijing expects deaths will outnumber births as early as next year. Fewer people mean less consumption, which means slower economic growth. That's a threat to stability for the Communist Party. But Beijing's new policy declaring couples can have 3 children up from 2 isn't enough, says political scientist Jean-Pierre Cabestan in Hong Kong.
Unless the government introduces real incentives, providing special allowances to couples who have 3 children, I don't think that Chinese couples are going to have more kids.
A recent study out of China shows money is the biggest worry, with childcare concerns second. In 1980, Beijing embarked on its controversial one-child policy to control its then skyrocketing population. Considered sound at the time, most Chinese appear to have gotten used to it. This week on Chinese social media, memes of triple bunk beds went viral, and this cartoon with a person having to choose between triplets and life. Women in China were vocal. There should be more policy support, more education support, and medical support, Zhu Hongyan says. Men could do more. I don't want to have a second child. A third is even more impossible, says this mother of one.
And one more population point to consider. There are people being born right now who could see a world where China is no longer the most populous country. By the year 2100, and yes, it is coming, British medical journal The Lancet says that India could take the top spot, followed by Nigeria, and only then China. In number 4, the United States. Ramy Inocencio, CBS News, Hong Kong.
Fascinating statistics there, right? Let's see what else the internet is talking about today on this Tuesday. And this is a little bit of disturbing news for all of our space news fans. Check this out. A robotic arm outside the International Space Station was apparently hit by space junk. We talk about that a lot here on the show. The impact punched a hole into the Canadian Arm 2. That's a robotic arm's name. The Canadian Space Agency says it's still functioning, though. The agency also says NASA first noticed this damage back on May 12th. It's still, though, unclear what caused it. So they have many theories on this. It could be small orbital debris, including pieces of rock, micrometeorites, even dust, right? Dust. It's hard to believe that can cause that much damage. Or even something as small as flakes of paint from the ISS itself. Fascinating.
Yep.
You know I love my space news.
Yep, sure do. We told you last week that Costco is bringing back those free samples. Well, Sam's Club is following suit. The retail warehouse chain says customers will be able to try out new foods and review products while they shop. The chain stopped food samples in March of 2020 due to the pandemic. The food samples will relaunch this week, and Sam's Club also dropped its mask requirement for fully vaccinated customers and employees after the CDC issued its guidance, but they're still required at stores where a state or local mask mandate is in effect, like Hawaii.
I have an update regarding free samples. I was in Waikiki this past week, and at least as of Friday, those Honolulu free cookie samples not available.
Honolulu Cookie Company.
I wanted to go test out some new ones. Not available yet.
Thanks for that update, Jonathan.
Breaking news, breaking news.
Today is World Reef Awareness Day, a call to action for consumers, businesses, and the community to reflect on the delicate ecosystem of our oceans, coral reefs, and an opportunity to find ways to preserve and protect these critical environments. Now, the reef ecosystem feeds, shelters, and provides habitats for fish, protects the shoreline from wave and sand erosion, and creates Hawaii's famous white sand beaches and underwater paradise. Now, some fun facts: coral reefs cover less than 1% of the world's oceans, but they're home to 25% of marine life. Massive coral reefs like the Great Barrier Reef are believed to be 5,000 to 10,000 years old.
Whoa.
And corals are technically animals because they don't make their own food. They don't grow their own food like plants, but like plants, they need sunlight to grow. They're actually related to jellyfish and anemones.
And real quickly, we have some breaking music news, right?
Yeah, one of California's largest musical festivals is making a comeback. Coachella will be held next year, April 15th through the 17th, as well as the 22nd through the 24th. Coachella has been postponed or canceled several times throughout the pandemic. Advanced ticket sales for the 2022 music festival starts June 4th.
It's really nice to see things like that, and what we saw in Vegas, there are things starting to turn to some sense of normalcy. So we'll keep following as all those reopenings happening here right on This Is Now. We'll see you tomorrow, guys.